All right, folks, so let's finally talk about this new moon in Pisces that occurred a few hours ago at 9:34 a.m. Pacific time today on March the 2nd. The new moon in Pisces was conjunct Jupiter, who is now in Pisces, and the only aspect of note from my perspective, or at the time of this new moon in Pisces, is the fact that tomorrow Mars and Venus and Pluto conjunct. I've done 3 videos leading up to this video so far. The first one giving a broad overview of where we're at. The second one focusing on the planets in Capricorn that talks about the Mars-Venus-Pluto conjunction. Yesterday I did a video on planets in Aquarius, and I will be the first to admit that there has to be more about the planets in Aquarius, and more will come. I will talk about the Venus and Mars transits in Aquarius separately, and they start on March the 6th. And here we are with this new moon in Pisces. So far, let me just talk about the different planetary, sort of the annual planetary transits in Pisces that we're focused on for now. The sun came into Pisces on February the 18th, and wherever the sun goes, our subconscious attention goes. It's as if the sun, this giant spotlight, enters the house that is occupied by Pisces, and it lights up all the nooks and crannies and brings our subconscious attention to that area. I say subconscious because we're talking about the sun and we're not talking about Mercury or Venus or Mars. So we're not often talking about it's like a sweep. It's like as I said, it's like a spotlight, and you feel it internally. Now, the new moon is today, March the 2nd, which means that for the rest of March, there will be developments in this part of the chart. There will be developments. And it is fair to say that action needs to be taken in this part of the chart as well, and I will expand on what kind of action we're talking about. If you were to say, where does action need to be taken right now as far as the planets and charts were concerned, I would say in the signs of Aquarius and Pisces, and I'll expand on that in a second. Mercury comes into this part of the chart, the Pisces part of the chart, on March the 10th for about 17 days, I think, for not for a very long time. It's a pretty quick transit. Venus comes in. Now, the Sun and Mercury clear Pisces in March, and then Venus comes in on April the 5th, and Mars comes in on April the 15th. And Mars remains there till the end of May. And around the end of May, Jupiter, which is currently in Pisces, also leaves to go into Aries. Jupiter is going to be back in Pisces in November and December of this year. And Jupiter was in Pisces in 2021 between the middle of May and the end of July. Goodness. So for astrology aficionados, if those kinds of dates are important to you, these general videos are catering to, once again, mid-May to end July of last year, Jupiter in Pisces, just the first few degrees. Jupiter entered Pisces on December the 28th. It's going to be there till the end of May, and then in November and December of 2022, the sun came in here on February the 18th, new moon today, March the 2nd, Mercury comes in March the 10th, Venus comes in April the 5th, Mars comes in April the 15th. So whatever the spotlight is that occurs, if I were to summarize this new moon cycle in a couple of sentences, I would say that March is a month where we should take action towards our goals. And from an astrological perspective right now, whatever our goals might be, we cannot ignore the Taurus part of your chart, where new developments occurred between September 19th and November 19th of last year. A new set of energies started to gain momentum. Remember that whatever happens in a chart isn't isolated, and there are other transits and other things that are occurring too. And with the Mars-Venus-Pluto conjunction tomorrow that this new moon encodes in Capricorn, there is the Capricorn part of the chart is ready to undergo transformation. is ready to undergo transformation to support the Taurus part of the chart. Activities that need to be taken in the Aquarius part of the chart will support the transformation of the Capricorn part of the chart and are necessary to liberate and to contribute to the Taurus part of the chart. They just have to really be responsible and need to bring to the table everything that you have learned and everything that feels is in integrity with fulfilling your highest potential and doesn't fall back on patterns and boundaries or lack of boundaries or habits that have not served you so far in the Aquarius part of the chart. And then we have the Pisces new moon, where we have activity and action till the end of May, with Jupiter's presence here, an end of a 12-year cycle and a start of a 12-year cycle. And as far as the month of March is concerned, when it comes to actions and activities, this notion of endings and beginnings simultaneously, beginnings and actions that are related to the future, and endings related to the Aquarius and Pisces part of the chart, but right now, especially the Pisces part of the chart, that may have to do with some disturbance, for lack of a better word, that might even go so far back as 2015, 2016. The Pisces part of the chart has taken quite a battering, over the last 7 or 8 years. We had the eclipses of release there in 2015, 2016. That's why I'm going that far back. Neptune has been there, and Neptune can create themes of renunciation and spiritual union with the divine or another party. But it can also introduce loss, and it can introduce deception, because often loss occurs through deception. And so there's something that has been going through the Pisces part of the chart. And, it's not over, because Saturn comes into Pisces in March 2023 and is pretty much there till February 2026, except for a brief period in 2025. And so, this part of the chart is going to continue with Saturn coming in there, going to continue to get something profoundly karmic is going on in the Pisces part of the chart for all of us. And to some extent, this new moon and the activities in the beginning of this year, because they are occurring in conjunction with Jupiter being there, allows us to try to steer things in a direction that will create a new beginning, and also move towards ending events, associations, attachments that have been problematic perhaps for a while. And it behooves us to create these new beginnings and to take action to protect ourselves, to take action to create a new agenda, to create a new set of 12-year goals, a new 12-year plan between now and May and then November, December, a new attitude, an auspicious new beginning in this part of the chart under Jupiter's guise. It behooves us to do so that by the time Saturn comes in here in 2023 and is here in 2024, 25, and early 2026, Saturn is already working on a new set of behaviors and patterns that are working to your advantage, as opposed to coming in and realizing that it has to teach karmic lessons based on patterns and behaviors that have not been in your best interest. The new moon conjunct Jupiter, of course, the press on it is that this is an amazing new moon and it's conjunct the luckiest planet, Jupiter. I find with Jupiter, as I've said to you before, Jupiter is very knowing, knows what is right for you, and will create endings and new beginnings. And the new beginnings are opportunities. And it will give you the option to take those opportunities. And with Jupiter, sometimes the opportunities include, and this is why endings is such an important theme of this, risk and adventure and a connection to spirit and a connection to your authenticity and a connection to your integrity. And sometimes we're able to avail of those opportunities, and sometimes we're not quite there in terms of our development. You can avail of opportunities while committing to remaining grounded and remaining responsible for your well-being and your a new beginning is exactly that. It's a trickle under Jupiter, I find. It's the first drops that will become a river. It's not the river itself. And so when you're dealing with the first drops of something, you've got to protect it. And by taking those kinds of risks doesn't mean that everything has to be thrown asunder unless you kind of have the stomach for that. It pays to be responsible and pays to be careful and mindful of your needs and your finances and your security as you pursue things that are closer to you, that are authentic to your integrity. And Jupiter often allows for that. And Jupiter in the Pisces part of the chart will depend on where Pisces is in your chart. If you have Pisces in the 10th house of career and you have your midheaven there, it's a very different transit than if you have Pisces in the 12th house of your chart and you're in Aries rising. That's a very different feeling. And this idea of, I would say that a new moon conjunct Jupiter in the month of March is less problematic than a new moon conjunct Saturn, which is what we had a month ago. I think there's an invitation to take action. There's an invitation to build on lessons that we learned in February. And just keep in mind that as the wave starts to head towards the shore and crashes on the shore 2 weeks from now at the time of the Virgo full moon, that Virgo full moon is very much in alignment with the North Node in Taurus and supporting it. But that Virgo full moon also opposes Neptune in Pisces. And this is where we have this theme of the month of March with the new moon in Pisces. New beginnings and actions that are necessary in the signs of Aquarius and the signs of Pisces to support the transformations in the sign of Capricorn and Taurus. If you know your chart and you know the houses those occupy and what those houses stand for, that'll make sense. If you don't, and if you're ready to move forward in a certain direction, take that as an invitation to do so. The energy is unsullied around moving forward towards building the new. And you can go back thematically to September 19th to November 19th of last year to give you a sense of what was starting to come in, new set of energies that are inviting you. But also, in line with these transformations and these new beginnings and this building, there's the idea of confronting an old set of, almost going back to 2014, 2015, 2015, 2016, deception, deceit, theft, loss, release. So as you take action, you may find that you're taking two sets of actions. One, related to the Capricorn and Taurus and Aquarius part of your chart that's going to build something new and help you achieve your goals. And two, to investigate or suss out or close or create an ending and an auspicious new beginning, to cleanse. Energies that have had perhaps a kind of deceptive, gaslighty feeling going back almost to 2014, 15, 16. So again, it's a building on something new, while at the same time also knowing that there's another set of energies not connected, not related. The energies in Pisces are distinct from the energies in Capricorn, Taurus, and Aquarius. The only common denominator is the sign of Aquarius, because the activities we're taking in Aquarius also have this quality of putting boundaries and ending things that are not serving us, or relationships or whatever, and building something new. The new has to do with the transformations in Capricorn and Taurus. The old has to do with issues related to the signs of Aquarius and Pisces in your chart. Actions that need to be taken supporting the new in Capricorn and Taurus and ending the old in Aquarius and Pisces have to be taken in Aquarius and Pisces. That is what the Capricorn part of the chart and the Taurus part of the chart are waiting on. All of this goes back to those first couple of sentences that I said for people who do not know their chart. You want to go for it? Go for it. Think about what you learned in February. Think about what worked. And as you head towards the middle of March and that full moon in Virgo 2 weeks from now, know that the pace will likely increase, and know that opportunities may arise. They may not be as exciting or loaded as the activities between February 7th and February 15th, 16th for some people, but the pace will increase. Even today, I mean, the new moon happened, and, you know, I've said this before on this channel, the human condition is just one to be discontented. You know, the new moon happened, I was just like, I have this to do, and I have this to do, and I have to do my video, and I have to do this, and I have to do this, and I was just like, why isn't the energy already feeling like it's a full moon? And it's like, because it's just the new moon, and tonight, you'll barely be able to see the crescent. It's the wave is just starting to move towards the shore, and I'm wanting things, I can feel the wind behind my sails, and I'm wanting things to accelerate as if it's a few days before the full moon. The acceleration will come. And whatever you've been reflecting on, whatever you've been planning, whatever you've learned on, if you're feeling like I'm ready to go, go. But remember that there are two tracks, possibly. Building the new, cleaning out the old. And the cleaning out the old with the full moon in the middle of the month has a kind of spotlight on it. One more thing that I'm going to say. When the new moon is conjunct Saturn, as it was last month, or Jupiter, or any planet, when the new moon is conjunct any planet, the sun is really close to that planet. And in certain schools of astrology, it is combust. It does not have power. So for a lot of people who are saying it's a new moon conjunct Jupiter, amazing things are going to happen, I'm like, it is time to take action, and better to have a new moon conjunct Jupiter than Saturn, yes. And ultimately, it is an march forward movement. But for some people, we'll be able to access the auspicious new beginning and ending a 12-year cycle in Pisces energy, and for other people will struggle with it. Because when the sun conjuncts a planet, I find that there's a conversation that happens between the sun and that planet, and something about that planet cleanses. It's like it burns off an old set of baggage or things that it's been accruing. And the sun, because it reflects the truest part of us, the subconscious truth of us, our soul, it's like this conversation happens between the sun and Jupiter, the luckiest, the God planet the planet that is trying to help us move forward on our path. And Jupiter and the sun, whatever's been going on in the Pisces part of the chart is ripe for cleansing and new beginning. And whether you're able to summon it easily or not, and especially if you're not, that's the thing with February. That's why I said some people will be able to access or take advantage of certain opportunities, and some people may not, and there are lessons to be learned. You know, when Saturn is combust and it's getting reprogrammed because it is conjunct the sun, or they're having this conversation with each other, some people are more easily able to access those energies, and for other people, the power of Saturn is somehow weakened by being so close to the blinding light of the sun. Put aside any expectations whatsoever, whether it's going to be a lucky month or an unlucky month, or a good month or a bad month, or how glorious it's going to be or not. Just start to move forward on your goals And astrologically, if you want more of a hint, they may be linked to new energies, as I keep saying, between September 19th and November 19th of last year. Absolutely pay attention to what worked and did not work in February and learn from it and incorporate it and resolve to move forward, having learned from what worked and what did not work in February. And at the same time, anything that is an energy drain, resolve to clean it up. And especially if it goes back to 2014, 15, 16. Resolve to create a new beginning here. And if it means that things have to be released, or something has to be investigated, or something has to be reviewed, or something has to be looked at, or whatever it's going to... Actually, the next 2 weeks, building that foundation, building that platform, taking action, and cleansing. That's the theme for March. For people who know that chart, actions need to be taken in the Aquarius and Pisces part of your chart. And some aspect of cleansing may have to do with other people or other parties. Some aspect of cleansing might be messes, might have to do with us taking care of messes that we have created in the Pisces part of our chart. Because with Jupiter there is a new beginning that is trying, an auspicious new beginning that is trying to be created. So take advantage of it. And resolve to take action to clean things up in the Pisces part of the chart and to create a new beginning, new steps. So actions in the Aquarius part of the chart, Pisces part of the chart. Actions in the Aquarius part of the chart will support Pisces, Capricorn, and Taurus. Actions in the Pisces part of the chart will support the Pisces part of the chart and might go back to issues, as I said, that go back to 14, 15, 16. Okay? The Mars-Venus-Pluto conjunction tomorrow, talks about the resolve to transform and evolve based on what came in between September and November 19th, based on things that we thought we were frustrated with in November and December. We may have done a complete about face on some of those things that if we were ready to get off a horse in November, December, we might look at that same situation in a much more appreciative lens if it's supporting where we're trying to go. Or we may just resolve that things need to be transformed and we're ready to go. So let's get on the horse. I will leave it at this. Share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, comment if you feel inclined, click the bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you are notified when I do new videos and more to follow. Okay? Thank you. Take care.